This is the music judge and jury, aka Queen Millennial. And of course, we're here to have another Let's Talk discussion on this particular series about one of my favorite of all time singers, and just a phenomenal woman in my personal opinion, who is greatly actually misunderstood, mainly because of the Pussycat Doll debacle and reception and reputation the whole brand has, with her basically as a villain. And how far Nicole Scherzinger as a solo artist should have truly been able to go, especially with that first debut album, Killer Love. So of course we're about to get into the meat and potatoes of the situation, my evaluation, but of course, before we get into that, as always, a word, because I have a lot to say. We're living in a time, an age in the Western world where everything's about mainly individualism, me, and nobody truly really caring for anybody else unless something's in it for them, something personal, something you give them. But people are not necessarily seeking out other people like they used to. And so when it comes to your mental health, I'm talking to you, have to be the gatekeeper. You have to keep it up. You have to keep it healthy. You have to care about you, because the ugly truth out here is that we're more vulnerable than ever because of how we treat each other. Let me say that again. Right now, in this current age, at this time of this recording, we're more vulnerable as a human species, and particularly in the Western world, who don't put community to the forefront, who don't put value in each other for the amazing beings that we are, who don't put I'm blanking, but so many things that we could be valuing in each other that seems to have been eroded and turned into something else for basically capitalist profit. That's what we're all a victim of. And we're losing as a culture, we're losing as a society, we're losing as a people, we're losing as a human animal species, particularly in the Western world, okay? And countries that mirror it. So with that being said, you have to find a way to be smart enough to know what's going on and act accordingly to protect your own mental health daily. Find tricks that work for you that are not destructive, because again, there's nobody else for most of us really there. And a lot of people are battling their own demons. So you have to be kind to yourself. You have to find a way to love yourself and to keep your mental health up. And people to tell you you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, you have to say, yes, I am. This is what works for me. Keep your mental health up. Okay, I know this segment is longer than it usually is, but it's just because that's how passionate I am because of my own personal story and how I'm able to keep my own mental health up. Despite the challenges around me, in my environment that I can't control, but I can't control me. Now, back to what this is all about. This is, it's that girl or it's not that girl. I am Worklina, the workhorse. And on this show, we talk about popular music and popular artists from today, yesterday, and beyond. And of course, independent recording artists here or there get the spotlight. Now, We're talking about the one and only, the girl with the golden voice. I believe Nicole is a Filipina. No. She's Polynesian. Okay. Anyway, she's Asian. Okay. That's Asian. That's a race. Okay. My girl, Nicole Scherzinger with the voice, honey. We want to break it down to what I believe is the reason why her solo career didn't take off the way it should. Because that album, 5 stars. 5 stars, wig snatching, and it just didn't do what it should have done. It should have just as good or better than the Pussycat Dolls. But anyway, I want you to get comfortable. Grab a chair, grab a seat, get a smoke, get a snack, get a drink, Alizé, Modelo, I don't know, get a 40. Just relax, because this is It's That Girl or It's Not That Girl. Here we go.
No matter how you are getting down, there's really nothing that you can do. Push past all the doubts and believe in you. Push past all the doubts and believe in you. Cause when it's all over, said and done, there's only one, yeah, there's only one. Take it by the horns and be on the run. Take it by the horns and be on the run. Even when you get down, yes, they wanna be around and they wanna see you frown. One life, they wanna be around and they wanna see you frown. Ow.
Welcome back into It's That Girl or It's Not That Girl. Now, I'm Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, not the YouTuber, and not the influencer. Bippity boppity boo. Okay? Now, disclaimer. There is no copyrighted music played on this station, but we'll get into that in a moment. Okay? We'll get into that in a moment. Yes, but those are great platforms to build the business, the brand, the name, but most importantly, the community. And hopefully you will join this community today by hitting that like button and sharing people that you know that like artist commentary, reaction, and reviews. And to truly become a part of this community, you have to do 3 things. Comment, subscribe, notification bell. Alright? Now, that disclaimer about copyrighted music, well, if you've been an avid watcher of YouTube for a while, you should already know that we have to be careful in YouTube streets when it comes to playing anybody's music that's not ours. Point blank in the period. We won't keep it that simple. Okay? Now, I forgot this episode don't even have any music from anybody but me, so it don't matter, okay? Well, let's get to the meat and potato. So I want to start briefly on how Nicole was introduced to the GP, aka the general public. Because somebody literally asked me in my comment section before doing the Blackpink marathon, what does GP mean? Which means they're not up on lingo. Okay? And so I had to explain to him what it was, verbatim. So that's for those people who are watching. Anyway, back to this. So I said I was Queen Millennial. I'm the Millennial, okay? So back in 2000, there was a show called Pop Stars that came along. And it was looking for a Supergirl group at the time, season 1. Well, guess who showed up? Miss Nicole Scherzinger, honey. I've been watching the show. I think I was about 15 at the time. Yes, but anyway, watching the show, and I was already somebody who, because I said I'm an artist, always wanted to be an artist. I always wanted to be a singer since I was a little boy. I'm actually doing it. Not the way that I saw it or wanted to do it, but I'm actually doing it. Okay, regardless of the hardships of being an artist today and many complexes and nuances of that. But anyway, Miss Nicole Scherzinger, okay? Now, she came on, she had a little cowboy hat, little clothes, she was styling, for back then. And she sang. I mean, she spoke, and she had a little voice. I'm Nicole Scherzinger, blah blah blah, contestant, whatever, whatnot. And so she went in the room, opened her mouth, and this big, beautiful voice came out. She did Whitney Houston. Well, you know what? To do Whitney Houston in those audition rooms is bold. Because if you're going to do Whitney Houston, you better be able to really, truly bring it. Anybody like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, you won't feel like the triad like that. You better be able to bring it. And Nicole Scherzinger was able to bring it, and they loved her. She was one of the favorites out the gate. Okay? Well, eventually, they would go through the rounds. I was an avid watcher of the show. And then, of course, she would actually be picked to be in the girl group. Didn't have a name yet. Eventually, they picked one and became, of course, what you see on the screen, Eden's Crush. So this was Nicole's real first taste of true, some kind of success, right? But for those of you who weren't around or vaguely remember the story, the reason why Eden's Crush didn't last was that the album was darn good. You should give it a listen if you haven't already. I already did a which I'm probably going to post at the end of this, a review recently, a throwback review of this album, the one and only album. But anyway, the reason why this album didn't even last, or actually the girl group didn't last, because the label they were on, it wasn't one of the major labels. Wasn't a major label, obviously. Folded, basically. And the group was kaput. Well, you're thinking, I'm thinking like, why didn't the group fight harder to go to other labels and put more demos together, or actually just show them this album they have right now? Because this album can go toe to toe with plenty of albums out there in the pop world of the market at that time. So I don't know if the girls were smart enough for that, if they had any business savvy or fight like that. I honestly don't think they did, because that was it. That was it. That was all. After it folded, there was just that album. That's it. Okay? And that was 2001, 2002 at the time. And then there was nothing. You just kind of moved on to other acts that were popping out of the gate, because there were plenty of acts to focus on in the music business at that time. Not as much as there is today, okay? There's too much going on today in the music world. But back then, not like today, okay? Well, there were plenty of other pop stars to focus on, right? And Pop Stars was the first of its kind at the time, because American Idol didn't premiere until 2002. So yeah, nobody knew what to make of this in the world of radio and media, or whatever. Nobody knew what to make of that. But anyway, we're making a band. Yeah, Pop Stars came in 2000. So anyway, fast forward. Excuse me. A couple years go by, right? And then there's the audition for the Pussycat Dolls, the group, right? The group. Now, we all should know by now, or if you're in Generation Z, probably don't know much about them, but the Pussycat Dolls were actually started off as a burlesque group. A lot of shows, I believe, were in Las Vegas. But anyway, burlesque group. But then Robin Anton, head of that group, decided she wanted a pop group. And it wasn't necessarily going to contain the lineup of the burlesque group. So she held auditions. She had some girls from the burlesque group in the group, but she wanted to find other fresh faces with the people who could really do the job. And so Nicole walks in after a few years it had been, not that many, but enough for people to forget. Because in the music world, you took too long to come back. Well, you were basically chopped liver at that time. So, yeah, you basically typically people would take like 2 years maximum to complete another album cycle. But yeah, you move too slow, especially if you were new. You to keep your momentum. Well, you don't have much of a loyalty there waiting for you, because people were just getting to know you. So with that being said, Nicole came in the room. Robin Anton, after hearing her voice and meeting her and speaking to her, she knew that she was the one in her mind, and even in Ron Fair's mind, who is the label head of the record label they would end up on. Okay? Agreed that Nicole Scherzinger should be the girl, the woman to build the group around. Okay? Now, as you can see in the picture, there's one person missing. I believe there's one person missing. And that is going to be, besides Kayla, who left very early in the group, but she saw the writing on the wall. She liked how she was being treated by Robin Anton. Besides her, Melody is missing in the group because this is this is the last time the girls got back together. Basically the React era, React. Every time you leave, I pull me closer. Every time the phone you call me back. That song. Before things went sour quickly. They were supposed to go on a tour and do all this thing and maybe a new album, but it didn't happen. Yeah, many rumors, but no real concrete facts, honestly. He said, she said, whatever. Anyway, Melody had a nice, unique soprano voice as well. A lyric soprano, but there was identity to her voice. Okay? That stood out. If you heard it, you know it was her. She's very skilled at what she could do vocally, what she had been given by nature. But even though Robin Anton liked her and her voice, she simply chose for the group to be built around Nicole, and they chose Nicole to really be the face of the group, to really be the singer, the lead singer for basically all the songs. The girls were there for more of a branding support of it all. But the star showed, let's see, Nicole didn't choose any of this. Nicole didn't have, none of the girls had any control, right? They didn't have any control over the direction of the group, whatever. It was, of course, the creator, Robin Anton, right? So with that being said, when stories would come out, it would come out to basically make Nicole Scherzinger the villain, as if she set this up. But if you know anything about this business, you should know that nothing is as it seems that they report to you on the surface. It's a lot deeper than any of that. So I want to take into consideration in some of these interviews, some of these more professional interviews, what the girls, the Pussycat Dolls around Nicole Scherzinger have been saying. They're saying they love Nicole to pieces, right? They love Nicole to pieces, but she's intense. And that could be misconstrued by the GP in many ways. Right? And when these headlines come out over and over, and they try to take the girls' words from these interviews and they try to spin them and twist them as if they hated Nicole because they were getting any like actual lead vocal parts or whatever. You have a situation in which Nicole's personal reputation takes a major hit. It's like a stain is put on it, right? And is Nicole a diva? Yes, but diva is not a bad thing, you know. Many of our favorites are divas. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion. Now there's two sides to the coin to the title diva. There's the negative diva and the good diva. Okay? But that's neither here nor there. Alright? That's neither here nor there. In between both those albums, Nicole would try to go solo. Do her thing. She had a couple of singles, you know, Whatever You Like. That was a phenomenal single in my opinion. Featuring T.I., Baby Love. But for some reason, it just wasn't going to happen. Right? Whether it was a response from the numbers coming back to the label saying, comparing it to the numbers of how the first album did, it painted a picture for them that she's not ready for this yet. That the audience isn't responding to her as a solo artist, even though she's phenomenal. So we're going to put that album on ice. And we're going to focus on the second Pussycat Dolls album to save this whole thing. Right? So she did that. She had to bite her tongue. And she went in here and she did that second album, which was great as well. Love that album. Better than the first one. First one was great too, but this one just took it up a notch. But anyway, fast forward. The album's over. The girls have had their tit for tats. You know, the arguments, you know, because girl groups, it's the same old story. Eventually, the girls start fighting, and eventually there's disbandment. Pussycat Dolls are no unique story when it comes to that. The girls are always they're always getting into it in some kind of way, and then finally they decide they just don't want to do it no more. Right? Now, maybe they get back together later, and then they fight each other, and they break apart again. I see this just be the roller coaster for girl groups. But anyway, NICOLE SCHERZINGER, which is always a bona fide star. Period. Okay? Now the other girls weren't, but NICOLE SCHERZINGER, excuse me, my lungs for my pills is going on, but anyway, was just that girl. You know, that was stunted. Stunted. Yes. And we're getting to the album that should have really launched her career. Are you following me? You still here? You got your Modelo, you got your Alizé, your drink, your smoke, you got your snacks, Twizzlers, I don't know. You following me? You having a good time? Okay. So, NICOLE rolls right on into the solo album recording. She's putting her heart and soul. You can hear it in the music on this album called Killer love, right? But Nicole, it has a certain picture painted of her that she can't control. Because remember, you don't actually control your reputation. Because that's how it's how others see you. It's what's sad about you, what you're known for. So they're saying Nicole's this, she's a diva, blah, blah, blah. The other girl, she got parts to, whatever it was that was going on in the mind of the GP. Well, that's what's going, if it hasn't changed, if there's nothing you did to be able to change it, no matter what you did, well, then that's what's stuck in people's mind. So now you got to market to people who already have this perception of you. They may accept you in the group just because it's the whole group there in music. So they're really supporting the whole group, or it's not really about you, right? Right? And so, give me a moment. There we go. And so, she comes out solo again and drops her single. And the single is everything. Okay? Poison. The music video, phenomenal. Right? It had a huge hint of her rock roots from a group she was in before. She auditioned for the Pop Stars show and got into Eden's Crush. Right? But unfortunately, the album did not do that well. It didn't match up to the Pussycat Doll numbers, and it was basically the same reception when she tried to do the album the first time for the first couple of singles. But this time the group was already over, disbanded. She was completely on her own, and the album artistically great. To me, the album's a wig snatcher. Absolutely. Absolutely, as an artist. Right? That knows great music. That knows great sounds, great frequencies. It's just... Nicole put everything into this album. But it's not enough when the people perception of you is less than favorable, and so people were willing to take Nicole in the group, but even though they only had 2 albums, but they didn't care to take note of her and support her as a solo act, because they already had their what it was that they thought Nicole was. Right? Remember when I said, for those of you who have seen, I know I record a lot and put out a lot of videos, right, daily, but follow me. For those of you who see the Reputation video, when I said it doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are, how skilled you are, your reputation will overtake everything that you do and you are. It's not fair. It ain't right. Well, it's not for me to say what's right or not, because I'm just a lowly human animal. Anyway, speck in the dust or something. Anyway, but anyway, I again will say your reputation is what will precede you and determine a lot of things in your life. So as talented as Nicole was and is, from top to bottom, I mean, she could do so many things. She could do opera, Broadway, so she didn't have to sit in the recording industry. Nicole went on to eventually reinvent herself anyway in many forms, including stints on shows like, was it American Idol? Or was it what's that show? X Factor? Whatever. Okay. She has won those shows as a judge. But all in hindsight to say, this perception of Nicole, in my personal opinion, would honestly be the major reason why her solo career as a recording artist did not do what it should have done for a talent like her. And not just the talent, how good the music actually was on that first album. Right? I'm also not sure how hard her label pushed. And they probably pushed really hard, you know, got her this and this and that. But it don't matter how much resources you put into something, if the reception of it is not connecting, if it's not being received well for whatever reason, well, you can waste all the resources you want. Okay? Doesn't mean you're going to get the success the more you put into it. It's just not the way that it works, you know? But anyway, again, I believe that's the reason why Nicole rocket ship never took off as a recording artist solo for her career. So again, Nicole has pivoted. She's done the Broadway thing. She's done the opera things. She's doing other things to make that cash, that money. But the thing is that she shouldn't have had to do any of those things as a have to do, versus she should be able to have a long lasting solo career under her belt as a recording artist. But the world is just, particularly in the Western world, let's be honest, a lot of the world is just not that kind. Once they have something made up about you, or they receive you to be whatever, whatnot, that's what it's gonna be. But you know what? I want to hear what your opinion is. Have you been a fan of the Pussycat Dolls, Nicole, Eden's crush? What's your perception of her? Do you think that she was done wrong? Do you think that she should have been more successful than she was as a solo artist? Do you see her as a villain yourself? I really want to know in the comment section. Well, this has been Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer, not the content creator, not the YouTuber, and not the influencer, aka Worklina, the workhorse, Queen Millennial, the Audacity Queen, and the Technology Queen. Now, if you had a great time and it makes you think about some things, then please, with sugar on top and ice cream in the middle, hit the like button and share people that you know that like artist commentary, reaction, and reviews. And of course, to become a part of this community here, you have to go ahead and do 3 things. You have to subscribe, comment, and of course, notification bell for more. Now, you've been here for the whole thing. Give yourself a hand, because a lot of these people, they jumped off the ship already within like the first, 5 minutes. Maybe even shorter than that. But anyway, this is the bonus segment, aka the shameless self-promotion segment. Now, I said I was an artist, musician, entertainer, did I not? And for the first time, many of you are seeing me. This is your first video seeing me in the first introduction. Hello, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to display those talents right now, so here we go. Making a visual, blow like a missile, gotta get it out and enjoy, never self-destroy. You got issues, anything going through, no one can about you, get a clue. The night, like no one that feels for it, let the music make it hold and touch your soul. Hit crazy, do the dance, baby, did you keep spinning hits to record lit? Love is amazing, dance floor is blazing, when you get in for the flow, just self-control. Intoxic, gussing like boxing, feeling me to permeate what my hands create. You refuse it, go ahead and use it, music is key to AC, it's a greater speed. Let's ready hit it, go ahead and get it. It's what something to receive, greatness you'll achieve. And now, the song.
I know you're out there looking for a stress reliever.
You're looking for a stress reliever out there.
Drugs, the alcohol,
here we go.
But let me tell you what you need to do. Here we go. Blood pressure, you worked all day like the messenger. Work so hard that the bills are high. All you do is cry me and freaking try. Punch that clock every freaking day. Still on your money, you got to pay. Fuck that shit, man, you need relief. But you got is free for the fucking cheap. Some take care of the freaking kids. Munching your plate for your freaking lid. Stress too much, always in a rush. You need even brushing, you're feeling flush. What is it that you're gonna do? Gonna have some relief in you. Time to get out with the music plays every freaking day. All I gotta say is jump, turn that music loud. I wanna see no hands in the crowd. You gotta get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up. Lose your mind to the beat. Shake it up, keep moving your feet. You gotta get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up, get it turned up. Get the stress.
And that is all I will be giving you, okay? Now, if you want to hear that song in its entirety, then comment in the comment section. You ready? Let me hear that song. And I most certainly will, absolutely for free. Okay, we're going to get real pop vocal staccato on this. This is Janet Jackson's Feedback, a segment of it. My name is Peyton 3.0, the artist, the musician, the entertainer. Here we go. Do you like my style? That sexy, sexy, sexy. I can rock it down you, yes. That sexy, sexy, sexy. You can work me out. That sexy, sexy, sexy. Let me show you how. So here's a demonstration, a peep show to get my bodies in exhibition, baby. Though it's on display, don't be scared to touch it. It said so. So come and get it, babe. Thank you.
Know that how you are getting down. There's really nothing that you can do. Push past all the doubts and believe in you. Push past all the doubts and believe in you. Cause when it's all over, said and done, there's only one, yeah, there's only one. Take it by the horns and be on the run. Take it by the horns and be on the run. Even when you get down, yes, they're gonna be around and they wanna see you frown. One life, they're gonna be around and they wanna see you frown. Out.